Red River Rivalry Week is here, and I don't know how I didn't spit all over myself trying to say that. Today's episode, I've got an update on the Heisman race coming to you at the end, so stick around for the full video. But right now, we're jumping into recruiting for a nice update. This is a crucial week. As you know, in the life of Texas and Oklahoma, there are no games any bigger than this one, but it also means on the recruiting trail, you know each team's going to be bringing in some recruits for this game. And guys that grow up in Texas and Oklahoma in the South that have an interest in either program, especially both programs, they're watching this one closely to gauge the temperature of each, the Longhorns and the Sooners, to see which team is moving in the right direction. Well, as the Longhorns look at ways that they want to spend their time and efforts, there is no better recruiter than what you see on the TV screen. And you've seen from the gameplay of what Texas has done so far this year, the way that they have run the ball. We cannot keep the halfbacks away. Chris Gunn, Joe Green, BJ Butler, all top prospects in the nation, wanting to come in and learn more about this Texas Longhorns program. They see potential to prime themselves for a run at the NFL, for a great experience, an opportunity to simply play and play a lot and be used and be important. And also Tim Townsend here at fullback, an important spot that we've got to fill because the depth chart is going to be lacking next year. So this is vital that we get him in, and he's actually coming in this week. We're taking that chance. If we lose the game, we might lose him as a recruit as well. The same thing with Joe Little, the number 10 receiver out of the state of Texas. Actually, he's number 10 in the whole country. He'll be visiting this week as well for the showdown in the Cotton Bowl between the Sooners and Longhorns. And Oklahoma on his map as well, so a loss could be devastating for our efforts to get him. But we're willing to take that chance. And we're holding out efforts as well on Keith Carr, waiting for him to warm up in his process. But it seems to be that just being on paper with him with an offer for a scholarship, no one else has done that yet, is put us in good favor with him. And tight end, another spot that we have to sign some guys in, moving along well there as well with two great options. Alex Carter, kind of the option C there. We haven't offered him a scholarship yet. Still debating whether to do that at this point, but I think I want to hold off. I have a feeling he would end up getting cut anyways, so going after Butler and Huffman for the time being. And if we want to run the ball, obviously we've got to make sure our offensive line is solidified each and every year. This is a position that we cannot overlook at any point, no matter if it looks good on paper or not. Sam Callahan, we slipped a little bit because he came in on a visit to Tulsa, so we've got some ground to make up there. But it appears, based on the trend here, that we should be able to make up that ground simply by the fact that he's not going to visit Tulsa again, and we're putting enough points at him, plus a few extra to overlap there with what Tulsa gained. And then when he comes in for his visit later in the year, assuming he doesn't sign before, then we should have a good shot. With Vincent Sanders, that's a guy that we're going to have to try to get ahead of the game there because he does have a visit elsewhere before our Week 14 scheduled stop there. Kyle Franz, he just went to Auburn, gave them a nice boost, got them back in the conversation, but still a big gap there that they've got to make up. So we're positioned well here. Moving forward, we're moving in the right direction. Guys that we're behind on, we're gaining in that ground. Here you see between us and Terence Daniels, Oklahoma's actually bringing him in this week, the defensive tackle for the Red River rivalry game on behalf of the Sooners. So they're taking a risk as well if they don't win that game. That does not look good. Doesn't reflect well on where their dynasty is heading. At the linebacker spot, this is where the real race is, and with Dalton Santos heading out as a senior, we're desperately looking for someone to step in. We do have some options on the current roster, but Jason Davis, the number 2 middle linebacker out of the state of Ohio, we've got some ground to make up because we don't have a pipeline in Ohio. Looking there at the visits that he has scheduled, we are at the end, the tail end. There's a nice boost that we'll get, about 1,000-point boost by having that visit come so much later than everyone else. The only issue is we have to make sure that he doesn't sign with another team before he makes the trip to Austin, Texas. And there's a lot a lot going on in his kitchen. His mailbox is full every day with all of those teams that he has in the battle right now. Six different schools right now fighting over him at this point. In the secondary, we're not chasing any safeties. We might do that in the next couple of weeks just to try to fill in a few spots with points as guys sign. Derek Johnson, our top rated and top targeted corner, is a guy that we want to grab, and we're able to borrow a few points from some guys that aren't necessarily needed to keep going. But looking good in the secondary. Quinn Thomas is as good as signed. Same thing with Doug George. No one's spending time on those guys, so no big concerns there. I like where we're moving with Adrian Anderson and Cody Ingle. Everything moving ahead well there. The only issue is if a visit before our scheduled stop. Once again, there's bonuses to setting those up later in the year. If he visits somewhere else, there's the potential he could get excited and sign. You never know with these college kids, actually high school kids going into college. They can get caught up in the emotions. So we're going to hold off on offering a visit and schedule one just yet for Cody Ingle. We'll do that at a later time when we can get more of a bonus. And then we've got a few points that we can dish out here to improve our chances with Adam Hoffman. We want to let him know just a little bit more how much we appreciate him and would love to have him on our team starting next year. And so we're moving in the right direction. The dam is about to break with all of these prospects. We're going to have some good signees coming up very soon. And as promised, here is the Heisman watch list, the top 5 guys right now at this point in the season, and they're all running backs. Some familiar names up there from what you've seen. Ezekiel Elliott from Ohio State. Paul Perkins, another running back. In fact, the whole list is running backs. Royce Freeman, the sophomore from Oregon. Roderick Williams Jr. from Minnesota. And then Leonard Fournette, the LSU halfback as well. And so tension continues to build in recruiting. And it's the same on the gameplay front. Oklahoma and Texas coming up next. That video coming your way tomorrow. We'll see you in the next episode.